So you have a dream, a goal, something that you want to achieve. But when it comes to taking action, you back off. Something or the other comes up. A problem you hadn't expected blocks your path, and now you don't know what to do. You are stuck. And this is a story a lot of us keep repeating over and over and over again. But today, finally, we are going to get rid of it with one single question that will solve all your problems for good. Let's begin. What would you do if all you had was you? Think about it. Nothing to blame your problems on, no one to lean on as support, and nowhere to seek any limitations or problems from. Everything that you do, everything that you don't do, and all the results that you get come from only one source, and that source is you. What will you do then? Will you still sit there and sulk and complain about how powerless you feel about life? Or will you just go out there and make things happen because you know that if you fail, no one else is there to blame, and if you succeed, also there's no one else to take the credit. It's all you. Now that's a very powerful mindset shift because it parallels with our natural instincts. That's how we have evolved. Because if you look at an animal, a monkey let's say, and when it's in the jungle, it does not sit around complaining about how hard it is to find food or how hard it is to find a banana on the tree, because it knows that no other monkeys are there sitting around and listening to him talk and complain and come up with these excuses. And he also knows that if he wants to quell the hunger that is there in his stomach, how will he do that? Very simply, by just going out, searching for a banana and eating it. That is it. Problem solved. And a lot of the problems that we face as humans are like that. But we don't do that, do we? Instead, we go down the path of excuses. We go down the path where we blame, where we come up with confusion, where we are overwhelmed, where we can't solve problems because we think that at the end of the day, it is not us, but something else or someone else that is to blame. And that is not the truth. We really are all we have. And once we recognize this reality, right, everything changes, and that change begins with changing how we take action. For that, we need to understand an important concept that comes from physics. The first law of motion is an object at rest will remain at rest, and an object in motion will remain in motion unless it is acted upon by an external force. That's inertia. The state of an object remains the same. Well, guess what? Humans are just like that. That is what the law of motivation is, that a person at rest or a person that is stuck will remain stuck, and a person that is moving will keep moving until or unless that person changes something by their own action and through their effort. We all want easy change. We all want easy solutions. But we are not ready to put in the efforts that those solutions demand. So what do? We ignore the simple solutions, the solutions that we know will work but require effort. And we go towards solutions that are very complicated, that are, things that are slow, easy, but they don't really lead us anywhere. They just keep us running around in loops. And why is that? Because of this inertia that is within us. We don't want to change. Nobody wants to change. But the reality is that unless you don't change, you will not grow. Remember this. Unless you don't change, you will not grow. And so the choice is in front of you. And the first choice is to keep on building the momentum of being stuck and overwhelmed that you have, or putting in the effort to change it and creating momentum of action and growth. Now I know, in theory, all of you want to choose the second path. All of you feel like, yes, this is it. I want the path of action and growth. But guess what? A lot of you are not going to do it, because when you get started on it, what will happen? The old inertia will kick in. The moment you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to focus on this task now. I'm really going to put my mind to it. Your mind is going to go back to its original state of being distracted and overwhelmed and come up with feelings of that distraction. Oh, you know what? I should check my phone once. Or that feeling of overwhelm. This isn't making any sense. How will I do this? And then that makes you want to quit, that makes you want to seek out relief, a way to let go of that tension. But the way to change is to accept that tension and to recognize that change requires effort. And that is how you make inertia work in your favor. Because what is inertia doing now? It is limiting you, it is blocking you from change. But if you change the direction of where the inertia itself is going, you can change the way you take action. So imagine this like you swimming in a river, let's say. If you're going against the flow of the river, against the current, you're going to have to put in a lot of effort. It is demanding. But if you're going with the flow, there is no effort. The river carries you forward. That's inertia. Inertia is like that river. Now the problem is that inertia itself isn't bad, but the direction it leads us to is bad, because generally the kind of inertia we develop of being stuck and overwhelmed, that does not lead to the dreams and the achievements that we want in our lives, right? It leads us to the other side where we are unfulfilled and unhappy. So how do you change that? The first option is to, go against the stream and put in a lot of effort, but eventually you will get tired. You will hit that wall I just talked about, and you will feel like, relieving that tension and just letting it go. And it will happen because once your willpower depletes, you naturally cannot respond to challenges in that way. You need to change the way you use inertia. And that is, again, a very simple solution, but not a lot of people follow this. Instead of, going against the stream, get out of the stream and find a river that goes in the direction you want. So there, you don't have to, wait around and put in a lot of effort and see, oh my God, change takes so much time, I have to, swim upstream. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is jump into this new river and let the flow of inertia carry you to the destination that you want to get to. How do we apply this to our lives? Very simply by changing the mental reframe that we have. When we think of inertia or when we think of ourselves, we often see, oh, I'm confused, I'm lonely, I don't know what to do, I'm stuck. Whenever I try to do something, I face challenges, I can't solve my problems. This is the tape that's going on inside our heads. And by changing it and by saying, resistance is good, resistance gets me what I want, by facing the challenges and the problems head on, I am building momentum that will take my life in the right direction. By repeating these statements to ourselves and by accepting that yes, this is the truth, we will change the force of inertia and jump into this new river. And what does that look like? That looks like this. We are taking action, you know exactly what to do, and now you also know how to do it because you're no longer trying to fight off the challenges. You've just quietly reframed the way you're thinking, and because your thinking and perspective have changed, the things you're looking at, the challenges you're observing, they have also changed. The key to achieving all you want is not to constantly go behind the resistance. Yes, some of it will be involved because it takes time to flip the inertia. But once you do, once you create positive momentum, it gets easier and easier to keep going. Remember that. The starting is always the hardest. The starting part is where you feel like things have gotten worse, but things always get worse before they get better. Be ready for that, accept that. And if you really have the willingness to change, if you really have the desire to live your dream life, you will be able to do this because you know what to do already. You have the idea of what your goals and your dreams are, whether it's building your business, finding the right job, cracking your exams, whatever it is. But a lot of times we don't know how to do it because our mind is scattered. Our mind is full of conflicting ideas, and the inertia of our current state is too hard for us to overcome. Well, now you've just done that. You've overcome that inertia by changing your mental reframe, and you've also figured out a way to make things work in your favor. So the first part of the equation was knowing what to do. You've unlocked the second part of the equation, that is knowing how to do what you want to do. That is the important step. And now I want you to think about this and I want you to comment. What is the one area in which you are facing inertia and how will you overcome it? Just a simple question. Answer it. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you need help from me on any of these factors, let me know. I'd be happy to help. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm rooting for you. And remember, you will grow only when you change.